Is we live? Is we live? Is we live? Yes, you're now tuned into the Rare Podcast. Of course, I'm your host of the most, NK, aka the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour. And we are joined by a very, very, no, I have to say very, 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 very special guest. Listen, if you've been outside, if you've been online,
Don't kill me.
if you've been anywhere, if you've been tapped into the black creative scene, the UK black creative scene, you've seen this guy. This guy needs no introduction, but I'm gonna let him introduce yourself. My bro, tell the people who you are.
Jigger. Yo, yes, it's Daniel, also known as Cxptures or DB. Who am I? I'm a photographer, I'm a filmmaker, I'm a storyteller. I'm a music creator, I'm a musician actually, to be fair. What else do I do? I'm a writer in some sense and form as well. And I'm a host. I'm a community. I am a host for the community.
Absolutely.
So yeah, as people will say, I'm very multi-purpose.
Listen, people don't like to say this in the UK. I feel like we should say when we're fans of people. No, genuinely, this guy will vouch. Genuinely, first met this guy when I was in Malta. I saw this guy working. I ran up to this guy, probably waved out my mind, slurring my words. I don't care. And I gave this guy love because I feel like I feel like you are a part of a movement when it comes to the UK. In terms of shaping Black British identity it's a thing that's ever evolving. It's a young thing. Yeah. But I think the role you specifically play in capturing Black British joy when it comes to your photography is so important.
I appreciate it, bro.
You won't see it now, but in decades gone by, when we talk about Black history, Black British history, we talk about this is what we were doing, this is what our generation are doing. People are going to use the stuff that you've made, the art that you've created as references. Yeah. And so I feel like it's very important for me, like as somebody who's been a beneficiary of that and somebody who's seen your work, to honestly give you the flowers that you deserve. Because,
much, thank you,
bro, like you've literally captured moments of Black joy.
Literally.
Like,
I think it's so funny, bro, because when people will come up, exactly like you said, people will come up and pay me compliments around the work that I do. And I tell you, the reason why sometimes I can be even a little bit awkward with receiving them is because I am genuinely very, very grateful that my work has that kind of impact, because that's all I've dreamed about. From the moment that I said I wanted to be a photographer, I said, if I'm going to pick up a camera and take pictures, I want it to be that people see my work and they notice me. I don't want to just take pictures and it's like, oh, he's a photographer, he's good at what he does, move on. I want the images to impact you. I want you to see that image and you make up your own assumptions about things. You describe your own story about what happened, what the person was thinking, the story behind it, the background, the colors. Like, I want that all to be a part of what you feel.
Yeah.
So getting to the point where like, I'm starting out this career and being a photographer and stuff, I was like, if I can curate images with that, I can't lie to you, man, I'm happy. I'm a very, very simple guy. I don't really need that much. Like, I'm really, really blessed in the position that I am at the moment. I'm very grateful. But I don't need much. I don't have a desire to have a fat amount of cash or to be famous in any stretch of the imagination at all. Like, I don't want that. What I actually want is that you see an image, you know it's me that took it. Like that for me, and that sense of legacy, that sense of like leaving that mark, that's what I want. Like, I'm building towards the next kind of 20, 30 years of like having images in museums, having them in like platforms and placards and having them etched into history. Bro, that's what I'm on this earth to do. Like, that's what I care about.
Absolutely, and you're definitely on that path. But I want to take it back to like the origin story. When was the moment you fell in love with a camera?
Oh, we're going right back in it.
Yeah, man.
The moment, okay, so historically, my mum and my dad's, so my mum's a preacher, and she owned a church, and so my dad, this was back in I was born in the 90s, so my dad, for what he was doing, was made a decent amount of money, like for especially around that time. Yeah. So my dad would be able to just buy things, and sometimes he'd buy them for the purpose of the church that my mum ran. Mate, he just buy them because my dad would buy a brand spanking new computer because he's got the money to do it, and so he will. At that time, the equivalent of what we would have spent on like lots of money, but obviously it's a different exchange rate.
Yeah.
So my dad bought this Sony broadcast camera. And so it meant that he wanted us to start like filming. It was mainly my mum, but wanted us to start filming like church services and birthday parties and, you know, things that went on. Because my mum was very, very, very like, the one thing I give my mum, she was very, very heavy on documenting. If we're at a birthday party, it doesn't matter. Everyone is in the room. Everybody dresses up. Everybody comes in. We take pictures. We film. My mum was very, very adamant. And that's actually a big part of who I am now. So my mum's bought this big broadcast camera. And the thing about me at my young age was that I always knew how to use technology. I didn't read a book. I didn't do any tutorials. I didn't go to university. I just knew how to do it. I knew how to switch it on.
Yeah.
I knew how to make it work. So I picked up this Sony broadcast camera for the first time. And I've just fallen in love with technology. I have no desire at this point to be a filmmaker, nothing. But I love technology, right? It gets to like 15, 16. I'm in church. My brother runs a drama production company in the church that we were going to. And he says to me, I've got these plays that I've done. I need you to edit them for me. So he's refilmed them on a camera. He said, I need you to basically just do what you do because you know how to do it. I said, yeah, no problem. It's my brother. I'm not going to say no. And I'm like, oh, I like this. I've started to like edit. I've picked up I've got a real one now just in case anyone from Adobe is watching. I need that sponsorship. I picked up a cheap copy of Adobe back then that you used to download on like LimeWire and them things there.
Yeah.
And I started editing these videos and he's selling them. And that's now become the thing about like creating. But around that time, I had fallen in love with like cinema. So Pearl Harbor, Matrix, you know, I've started watching all of these like really big cinematic films and I fell in love with these moments. I fell in love with this, watching how you could take something so simple like the mountains or whatever it is, and it's now turned into something that looks like really great. So boom. Fast forward a couple of years now, I've started doing videos, I started shooting weddings. I hate it. I hate this. Is no disrespect to any client that I have a wedding video coming up with.
What do you feel restricted at weddings, or is it just like you don't get to flex your creative muscles over there?
Do you know what? There are lots of reasons about it, and the main reason I think for me is that what the intention of it is for. I feel like if I had started out just doing that and not having a full-time job, I would have had more time to finish stuff on time. I would have had more time to complete stuff, and I probably would have had less of an issue with it. The problem was while I was doing it with my 9 to 5, which is what most videographers or photographers will do, it takes a real strain on you. I was working 9 to 5, go home, and I'm working again till 3, 4 in the morning. Yeah. Maybe sleep for an hour or two. Then I go right back to my 9 to 5. And back then, I wasn't working from home. I was going into the office. Yeah. So I think that restricts it as well. But for some people, they love that and they can create with that. And I think that there's people who are very good in their field of doing that. But I think for me, I needed something where I wasn't restricted by that, and I wasn't restricted by it being what it's probably going to be, which is based off of the client. Yeah.
Let me, we're going to get back to your story, but I want to talk about like, you touched on something. A lot of people believe that, you know, the creatives, you know, you don't work the 9 to 5s, you don't do this, you don't do that. I want to talk about like where was your head at while you were doing these, you know, you were doing something in the area that you love, but you still had to maintain yourself with your 9 to 5. Like, how did that feel for you? Did you ever feel like, oh, do you know what, this wedding thing's not working out, I'm just gonna abandon ship? Or was there that constant end goal in your mind that kept you going through the 9 to 5 and through the wedding stuff?
You know what, it's a very good question, because if I think about it in hindsight, I don't think I had at the time when I was frustrated, I don't think I had a plan like that. I actually think that I was more inclined to say that, because at that time, bearing in mind, before we go on, I wasn't a photographer at this point. Yeah. I was just in video.
Videos, okay.
So in my head, I had already said to myself, because of how much I hated video at the time, because of what I was doing, I didn't have any end goal for it. I didn't think to myself, I'm doing this 9 to 5 and this job because I want to go. I was doing this because I was like, I'm good at what I do in this moment and I need to make money. That was why I was doing it at the time. It was only up until I fast forward a couple of years and we go into photography and stuff like that I realized that doing a 9 to 5 and working as a photographer, I knew what my end goal was.
Okay.
That I was pouring in this money into my field. The 9 to 5 is paid for all of the cameras that I've got, my lenses, my flashes, my hard drive, my computer, as well as the photography money, yes. But that 9 to 5 funded. I remember I was working 9 to 5. I've been working 9 to 5 since I was 16.
Yeah.
And this was maybe I'd say 3 years ago now, because I remember it. I needed a camera that was just of a higher quality because of the stuff that I wanted to do. My 9 to 5 paid for it. And it was a very expensive purchase. I bought a 5D Mark IV, which at the time was like, the body alone was like 2.5, 3K. That 9 to 5 paid for it. If I didn't do that, and when I bought that 5D Mark IV and that lens, the year that I had because of that camera is a big part of why I'm standing here today.
Yeah.
The work, the quality I was producing, what I was able to do, just moving on to a higher level in terms of that was a big part of why I'm standing today. So when people are like, you know, the goal is not to have a 9 to 5, I'm like, I don't actually agree with that. I'd actually be more inclined to say, if you can do both without, you know, you're tired and you're not getting any sleep or stuff like that, you got to get your rest or whatever.
For sure.
But if you can do both, my brother, do both. The economy is tight.
It's tight. It's tight. It's tight. But yeah, like, continue with the journey. I just wanted to like circle that part. I think that part's important, but continue on with the journey. So you're working at weddings.
Yes,
I've got another cup.
Because this thing was leaking still.
Oh, yeah.
Cheers, brother. Yeah, so
we were at you were doing photography. I mean, so you're doing weddings, but then you couldn't balance with the 9 to 5.
So fast forward now. So basically, and this is where the social media part comes into it.
Cool.
I'm doing wedding videos. I've stopped. I hated it. I've gone back to just doing my 9 to 5.
Yeah.
A friend of mine was getting married, and he had seen some old wedding videos that I did, but I had obviously stopped. So he's messaged me and he's like, "Yo, love your work. Can you do my wedding for me?" I'm like, "Bro, you know, I've stopped now, so I'm not really doing it." He's like, "Please, like, I genuinely feel like you'd be able to do it, blah, blah, blah." So I'm like, "All right, cool, whatever." I've gotten a team together. Again, at this moment, I've not got any plans to do whatever, but he's my boy. And so whatever. Anyway, end up doing the wedding. The wedding was fantastic. And this was the first viral moment I ever had in my life. The walk-in for the groomsmen was Gig's whipping excursion. It was sick. Like, it was just crazy. We made it basically into a movie. Gig saw it, reposted it, loved it, commented on it. And that was like the first moment that I had on Twitter where I've put my work out and it's basically blown up. Because again, it wasn't expected. So now I'm like, it's interesting. So I was that year, we ended up doing like, I think we did like 15 or 20 weddings because of off the back of that moment.
Wow.
Which was crazy because again, it wasn't expected.
Yeah.
But I've gotten back to how I feel again. I'm frustrated. I'm not sleeping. I'm now doing a full-on 9 to 5 in this video work. I'm not getting any rest. I'm battling insomnia now. And I'm just like, I hate this. As soon as I'm done with this last wedding, I'm going to quit. I'm going to drop it. It's so this is 2024. So 2015, I'm shooting a wedding again. A friend of mine is doing a photography job and he says to me, "I'll just take some pictures while I go and do something because I need to take pictures of the family. The couple was here. Just take some pictures of them, just whatever." I said, "No problem." I picked up my camera. I've taken pictures. I've looked at them and I've gone, "Oh, these are good." Like, I've taken pictures with my phone and stuff like that, but I've never ever taken pictures that professionally and looked at them and said to myself, this is interesting. So I showed it to the couple, I showed it to my friend, and my friend looked over to it and he was like, "Yo, these are wavy." And my friend's a sick photographer, by the way. Like, one generally very good at his job. So I've said to myself, like, boom, I hate videography. I'm hating this thing that I'm in. But this moment about taking a picture seems significant. So I took a year to just shoot for free. No payment. I just basically found people on Twitter, found people like friends, family, whatever, went to events. I just said to them, "I'll shoot your event for free. You don't need to pay me." Did this for a year. The whole year I did it, I enjoyed it. It didn't feel like work. It didn't feel stressful. I didn't feel as though I don't want to take it. I didn't feel like that at all. And I said to myself, if I can feel like that for a year and I was getting no payment, surely there must be something significant about this. So I fed into it. Then boom, ended up shooting for LMA. Boom, ended up shooting for Burna Boy. Boom, ended up shooting for Sir. And then it unfolded into this thing. And then it was when I got to those points, it wasn't those moments that I was, I'm glad I'm shooting these celebrities or whatever. It wasn't that. It was the stories. It was the moments that I got to tell. So when people see me and they're like, oh, you're a celebrity. I'm like, no, I'm not, I said, it so happens to be that I get to tell those moments, but that's not, I don't wake up in the morning thinking to myself, I can't wait to shoot a celebrity. As great as it is, no, it's the moments. It's the moments that I get when I'm at a party and I'm looking at someone having the time of their life and I'm watching them and I'm saying to them, that's the moment. Forget everything else. Forget everything else that's going on, blah, blah, blah. It's that moment.
Because do you know why I love your pictures, like, specifically? Because this is me saying this doesn't reflect on Daniel. I think a lot of photographers are trying to, you capture the moment authentically. And I feel like a lot of people are trying to capture virality. Or let me expose somebody lip-syncing in the corner. But you are capturing essence. You are capturing, and the reason why I said before, you are capturing joy. Because I feel like a lot of the promotion when it comes to events or so on and so forth are trying to capture, this is a funny Twitter moment. This is a this is a that. Oh my God, look how lit we look. Where for you, we don't. Half of the times you're in the rafters like Batman.
I'm not even there.
We're not even. We're not even there. But you're capturing an organic moment, and I feel like that is so important. That's why, like, photographers are artists, of course, but that's why I feel like your work will live on, like, way past you. And that's why, like, I can see a photo, I'm like, of course Daniel did this. Because for me, it's like you are capturing the purity of a moment rather than trying to exploit a moment.
Yes. And it's so funny that you say that because ironically, for a lot of people, that I've, again, been very blessed with being able to use social media and also just being supported by it. A lot of pictures that I've put out have gone viral.
Yeah.
But it's exactly what you said. When people are like, they will come to me and say, how do you do it, whatever, or how do you create this moment? I'm like, you need to understand something. And this is the part of the reason why I shoot the way that I do. I don't create these moments to go viral. I don't create these moments. I create these moments, exactly like you said, to document. I'm taking a picture of this person and I'm not figuring to myself, social media is going to love this. I'm putting out this work because I'm like, I'm so proud of this picture. Or I'm putting out this work because look at that moment. Look at how good it looks to enjoy music or enjoy this moment. So it's exactly like you said. If your purpose or your definition of what you do is to get more likes and to go viral and to do all those different things, you will curate your work based off of that. As where if you do what you're supposed to do, which is essentially as an artist, as a photographer, you're a painter. Yeah. You paint. You take that canvas and you paint something that is wonderful. Everything else falls into place. And even if you never do go viral, even if you ever have a moment where there's thousands of retweets, or like, it doesn't matter, because that legacy that you're building is still going to live on way beyond that. It's deeper than that.
Absolutely. I think what would you say is the biggest lesson you've learned, not just as a creative, but because you started this journey very much from your story as a teenager and now you're a man. What's the biggest lessons you've learned as a creative, but also as Daniel?
Some good questions, man. Did you think of that on the spot?
I'm good at my job.
I was quite impressed. I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. Great question. As a creative, one of the biggest lessons that I've learned is to believe in your own identity. And what I mean by that is, for a lot of people, because they want to keep working, they want to put food on the table, they got to do what they got to do, they will bend and probe what they do, or the things they how they shoot, how they create. They will do all those things based off of what the client has said to them, or what is trending at the moment, or what the party is asking for, what the promoter is asking for, all those different things. That's usually what will happen. And I say to creatives, and this is not easy to do, but I think you've got to stick to it. When people come and hire me and they say, oh, we want X, Y, and Z, I'm like, have you seen my work? Yeah, we love it. Okay, do you see the way I shoot? Yeah, we love it. Do you know that I'm going to shoot like that? We ain't got no problems. If you come and say to me, can you do X, Y, and Z? I will suggest to you photographers who can do that. It doesn't make any sense for me to do that because that's not what I want to do. That's not my identity. That's not who I am. And there's photographers who that is their identity. That is what they do. Holding on to your identity for me feels like the most important thing because it's that, oh, he took that.
Yeah, but you know, as a creative, right, there's always, especially when like there's money involved. Let's say there's like a big brand. How do you balance maintaining your identity versus, okay, this is what the client needs? For example, let's like, because I always feel like there's that. Especially like I listen to a lot of interviews from directors, right? And the studio will be like, we want this film, but the director has a clear identity. How do you find the balance between, okay, this is who I am as an artist, but at the same time, our job's got to be done?
I think you've got to be vocal about it, you know? If you look at all of the, like I've worked with big clients, TikTok, Google, YouTube, all of them.
Yeah.
You'll see all of the work. You'll know it's me. Even if, and they're very specific about what they want from me. They will give me a brief. They will tell me color. They will tell me everything. But how I do it, that's still on me. And I think it's important to still be able to, even when you're working with clients like that, still be able to make sure that your identity still lives throughout, even if you've got requirements.
Yeah.
So again, a lot of these clients, they won't come to you and say, we want you to shoot like X, Y, and Z. They'll give you references. They'll tell you what they're looking for, blah, blah, blah. That's all good. That's all fine. But they're looking for your style, your identity. And the only reason that they can do that is because they've seen enough of your work to say, yeah, we've got what we want, but we want him to do it. We want it executed by this person. And the only way you can do that is if you hold on to your identity. So finding that balance is important, and you have to bend and probe. It's not to be like, I'm never going to listen to what you're going to say. I'm not going to, it's nothing to do with that, but it's more okay, this is what you need. That's fine. I can do that within the realms of this is how I'm going to execute it. This is the style that I'm going to use. This is the way I'm going to do it. This is the way I'm going to perform. You get much less complaints that way, but also you feel more confident about your job because you know you're going in there saying, I'm going to do this the way that I know how, while still understanding that there is requirements and the client wants X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
That identity, it lives through it.
And like has like, obviously as an artist, it's all about like your voice evolving and your voice changing.
Yeah.
What is the message that you want your work to speak to people?
I think right now, I want people to, and I feel like this is, I guess, a bit more expansive, but I feel like at the moment, we're losing human connection. I feel like that's what it is. I feel like that's actually, as the day goes on, it gets worse and worse.
Yeah.
And I feel like I want videos and pictures that I put out to remind you of how beautiful human connection is. Right now, I feel like that is actually really what my job is at the moment. In terms of like, this is something that I really feel like I've been put here to do. I want you to look at a picture and remind yourself why it's important to go to a party and get lost in the music. Why it's important to have fun with your friends. Why it's important to not do all this watchy stuff and stay behind the wall and not into, like, it's important to be present. And then I want videos to remind you that no matter what's going on with AI and what they're creating and all of these prompts and whatever, you will never replace a moment that is captured in real time. You will never be able to do it. It doesn't matter how many prompts you got. It doesn't matter about technology. You will never be able to replace a photographer or a videographer or a director or a filmmaker picking up a device, taking that moment in its real time and producing that. You will never be able to replace that with technology.
Yeah. And
that's what I feel like, even if I'm the only one to do it, it's fine. I'm okay with that. For the future, I want legacy, man. I want the next 15, 20, 30 years. I want the moment that I'm no longer on this earth and I'm no longer breathing, that you will still be able to go into places, or you pick up archives, or you'll pick up books, or you'll pick up whatever it is, or you'll go on social media and you'll see that image and you'll go back to that moment in time if you were there.
Yeah.
You'll go back to history. You'll go back to, and you read about it. You read about those moments. You read about what happens. The artist, the person who was behind the editorial. But more, you'll say, oh, that music is incredible.
I think the through line of building community directly ties into like your latest creation,
Baby.
which is This Chord. I think the reason why This Chord for me is so like important is because yes, musical discourse online is great, but music is there to be shared.
Thanks.
And music is there to be experienced and enjoyed. And music, for me, like I'm a music lover, you're a music lover, it invokes feelings in us.
That's right.
And sometimes, just because of the nature of life, we don't get those moments to experience and share.
Yep.
And I feel like This Chord is a platform where we can finally just sit down and take in the music and also meet our people, meet our community. Because yes, as much as we interact on social media, at the end of the day, you're just an Avi and a face.
That's facts.
But now we're in the room experiencing songs together and channeling these emotions that the songs bring. It's another level of shared experience and community.
Facts.
And literally, I remember you posted the Michael Jackson one. I saw the videos of that. I said, why am I not there? I'm gonna be there. When the time permits, I'm gonna be there. And every time I've gone, I've come out feeling enriched.
Yeah, facts.
But talk to me how we can see the through line of you wanting to build community. What was the genesis? What was the moment where you said, I need to make this?
So the biggest factor to it was COVID. Before COVID, I had this idea, but I was kind of like in between about whether I was going to make it work and what I was going to do, blah, 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 blah. And then COVID happened and I started to see exactly what you were saying, like music debates going on online. There was this real big push.
Yeah.
Verses started happening. These 10 versus 10. People were very heavy on like podcasts and YouTube, and it became a very like it pushed the whole online community, which is great. These are not bad things at all. I don't think they are. But then I started to realize that's all that there was. I couldn't find anything. I was asking people. I remember doing this for like a month or two before starting Discord and saying, what places do you guys go to talk about music, as in physically? I'm not talking about with your friend. I'm not talking about at a bar. I'm not talking what you normally. I'm saying like an actual place or a platform dedicated to talk about music. I couldn't find one. So I was like, And then I started to realize, I started to talk to people and they started to tell me stuff around like, oh, I don't really come out my house now because of COVID. I don't really talk to people. I'm very anxious to meet people. I don't know what to say. Like this started to become a really big thread. Anyway, 2023, December 2023, the idea came back up again because I'd had it a couple of years before. And I remember just tweeting about it and saying, I want to start a music book club. And it blew up. It really, really did, to a point where I had like DMs from people telling me like, I'll support you, I'll be in your team, I'll do whatever. That kept going on for a long time. And then I was like, if I do this, what if no one comes? What if it doesn't turn out to be like what I want it to be? What if it's a failure, basically? And then something in my head or the people around me, but enough of it basically said, what is the worst that could happen? Even if you only get 5 people in the building, that's 5 people that you can have a genuine conversation with. So I was like, you know what? It's true. Worst comes to worst, my friends will come. You know, we can do something. We can make it happen, whatever. So the first one that we did was the Usher one. It sold out in like 2 weeks. I've never done it before. It was the idea that I put on social media. Sold out in like 2 weeks. We did the Usher one. Incredible. Like insane. I was like, okay, all right, fine. Maybe it was just people come to the first event.
Yeah.
And then whatever. So the second one was Drake. sold out straight away. Third one was MJ, and then it just
Snowballed.
So then I was like, okay, what if we introduce a way for fans to meet artists? So I was like, all right, cool. Let's see if we can get Jules in the building and do one. It was our biggest one yet. 3 times the amount of people that we've had. I was like, okay. And then spiral to the point now where we have built a community of like, as in people who are following it. It's like 2,000-3,000 people at the moment.
Yeah.
In terms of like social media and newsletters and people that are in it. Like, I think what the biggest lesson that I've learned from Discord is sometimes you just need to just bloody do it.
Sometimes there's a lesson I've learned, right, and I don't know where I got this saying from, but sometimes the best hands are your own.
The best hands are your own. Also, that's a bit of a pause that I can't lie.
It's true in both cases. But anyways, only Daniel can ruin the heartfelt.
It was so heartfelt, but I was like, I'm not gonna let this slip off. It was a really beautiful moment. But I said,
we're gonna touch it. If there's a lot of positive. If there's one thing about this guy is known for inappropriate tweet, inappropriate comment. This guy. You have a moment. Oh, you just see this guy. Oh, brother, ruining it.
Open goal, man. Come on, man. That was too easy, bro. It was too easy.
Oh fuck!
I was like, I thought about it for about 4 seconds.
Fuck off! Fuck off!
I'm not gonna let him pick it up. Absolutely.
That was crazy. But
crazy.
But sometimes you're the best person to execute the idea.
Amen.
Fuck you. Oh fuck!
Oh my god!
See, I said I'm gonna come in on a professional thing.
Oh no, I wasn't letting you get away with that. I'm so sorry.
Oh no,
you're right though. You're right.
Yeah.
Like, bro, and also, but you know, the funny thing is, the thread that runs through Discord is that there are actually people who will fucking get behind you and support this team.
Yeah.
The team that I've got behind me and what we're doing, I couldn't have done this without them. There's no doubt about it. I couldn't have. And it's also the fact that the community in general, like people like you that have come on board, like it doesn't go unnoticed that people will go and spend money to come to this thing.
Yeah.
That people will come out on a Wednesday or Thursday night. Like they've got work, they're probably tired, but they're so dedicated to building this community of people who love music that it doesn't matter to them.
Because we've had this conversation before, right? Where I feel like we live in an attention economy where everything is about the next moment. We move on from things too fast.
Yeah.
I think This Chord, and there's one other event like it where I found, I'll show you who they are. They're called Love, so I have to big them up every time. But you guys sit down and pause and taking the art that has been created.
Facts. And
I feel like sometimes in life we are too fixated on the next. Because
of the way we consume music.
Because just the way we consume life. You can't even let a moment breathe until you think, what's the next project?
We're looking for that dopamine, isn't it?
But this chord is literally, it's literally, the reason why it works is because, the reason why it even works midweek, I'll tell you why. It's normally you go home, go to work, and you're dreading the next day of work.
Yeah.
It stops the cycle. I go to work and I have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
I don't have something to look forward to. I don't have to dress up. I don't have to pretend. I don't have to be like, hype myself up for the occasion. I can just be.
Yeah.
And too many times, especially when it comes to listen, I love a party. I love being outside. But too many times when we're outside, there's preparation into going out. So you got to psych yourself up. If you're a woman, you got to wear makeup. If you're a guy, you got to do this. You can't just exist. You got to make sure you can't just exist. But I feel like events like that allow us to just exist. And I think, especially as black people in this country, when do we ever just get a moment to be?
Yeah.
At work, we got a code switch. at Boltives, we got to show the best version of ourselves. When do we just get to be around each other and be?
Yeah.
And I think that's people talk about third spaces. That is the third space that you provide.
Yeah. Facts. I appreciate them. And it's so significant what you're saying, because post-COVID, I feel like there was this damage that happened to a lot of our psyches without us even noticing it. I feel like that being by yourself in isolation caused a lot of people to do one of two things: draw more to human connection or pull back.
Yeah.
And so I just felt like, but is it this deep? I don't know. But I felt like the thing that I had to do was be a part of repairing what happened post the pandemic.
Yeah.
And even if it is just this community and this amount of people or whatever it is, I'm okay with that, because I am a believer in changing your world within your community.
Absolutely.
You can't have great impact in the world unless you can start at home. I don't believe it's possible. You might be able to do things based off of social media and marketing, whatever. But if you want to have real impact, and you've got to start at home. You've got to start within your community. And that's what Discord is about. Discord is about going back to the roots of things.
Yeah.
If you think about talking about music and having conversations, you do it with your friends. It's stuff that you do when you're inside the yard or you're having dinner or whatever it is, talking about the album that came out. That's what I remember. When we were buying a project or an album that came out, we were going or wherever we were going to pick it up, and we would talk about it, because you had to do more work to go and get it. So Discord kind of strips all of that away and says, all right, cool, let's go back to the kind of foundations of things. Yeah. As if you've picked up an album for the first time and you've gone to your friend's house and you've just put it on. Which is like we did J. Cole yesterday. We did Forest Hills Drive. And it was the first time we just did the whole album, no skips. We just let it play. And I really enjoyed it because people got to just listen. We heard these songs almost like in a different kind of ear for the first time, which is great. That's what I want. And then there's layers, there's stories, there's things that happen, there's how the song connects. They were talking about the beef. They were like, It was just so many threads of things. But you could just see there was this joy and happiness on people that they were able to talk about the music they love.
Yeah. And like I said, I think we need that. I think after COVID, right, there was this thing where people didn't know how to interact with each other anymore. And it was kind of like...
They still don't.
We still don't. I think we're living in an era where like human interaction is so digitized. Think about think about how people find love on dating apps. Think about like you can't just go to somewhere and meet someone who may have the same interests as you or whatever. It's the world we live in. It's super like everybody's a commodity, and everyone is trying to sell you something. So I think having spaces where, like I said, you could just be present and go are so important. And that's what I mean. I will go there on my ones or with 1,000 people, like I'm a Spartan in 300. Like it don't matter, because for me, as consumers, I believe when the creators create, we have to support.
We have. That's a thread that needs to run through forever.
Because and be loud with your support. Fuck the nonchalantance.
Yeah, facts.
Because the only way a plant can grow is if you water it.
Yeah, facts.
And a lot of these creators are creating, in bubbles, but we need to amplify these voices.
Yeah, facts.
We need to be like, yo, I'm going to go to this. I'm going to go to that. Because that's how, again, you build community. And I think that's the main thing people lack these days. The reason why people are so quick to seek, my personal opinion, so quick to seek the validation of the masses in social media is because there's not that community for them in their real lives. Yeah, there are people around you, but are they community?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like in a world where we're so connected, we are so distant. We have access to everything and nothing at the same time, because everybody, in my opinion, is afraid of being perceived. And if you're that one person, but we live in an era where people are going viral for dancing in raves. You're being mocked for dancing in a rave. Well, that's what you're supposed to do.
That's what you're supposed to do. That's what the party is for, bro.
People, we've turned. People are out there with their phones out, cameras out, not even getting paid, not following their craft, just to mock others that are in the moment.
If you chase, and this is the thing that I've had to teach myself as I'm getting a little bit older. If you chase the dopamine effect, you live by the dopamine effect, which means that at moments where this needs you to just take it in, you're not going to do that because you're looking for the next injection of excitement. And it's so funny because I've had to take a look, as someone who is a photographer and whatever, and also unfortunately has to do content creation, whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've had to teach myself and say to myself, actually, there is a side to me that does content creation. I'm well aware of that. But my job as a photographer is not a content creator. It's very different.
Yeah.
My job as a photographer is to document history and to be a part of that documentation of history, whether that's Palestinian marches, whether that's a party, whether that's editorial, like that is my job. But I've got to take a step back sometimes and realize, you know what? You will get to the point sometimes where you will live for the curation and you don't live in the moment. You don't live to be present.
A thing I had to like tell myself is I make content, I'm not the content.
Facts.
And people go through lives not thinking that they are the content, but other people are content. Everybody's a commodity to be sold. The way people way people navigate the world is that everything is a commodity to be sold for something. Where I get it, economy's hard. I get it. People have to make their bread, and listen, everybody has their moral threshold and what. But for me, I don't think that if in my dictatorship, phones will have tape over them, be banned, not to people do madness, but for people to actually let go. Because I think people are holding on to this false image of superiority where it's like, I need to maintain my cool factor.
Of course.
I need to maintain, I can't be seen to care.
And I always want to constantly remain connected as well.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it. People want to constantly, and I have to teach myself to stop doing it. People want to constantly be in the know, even when you don't need to be. You constantly want, which is why the doom scrolling thing is such a big problem. That no one just sits in the moment anymore. We don't do it.
No.
We don't embrace boredom anymore.
Do you know how I knew it was? Do you know how I knew it was a madness? Yeah, I remember like I went. There was a thing where I was in the motive, enjoyed the motive. What do? Type the motive on TikTok and see how people see what everyone else said about the motive. I'm like, hold on, this is a moment I've experienced. My perspective is my perspective.
Yeah, facts.
Why am I actively? Don't get me wrong. It's important to like know what the world is thinking. But at the same time, people are so disconnected from the moment that they're looking for other people's connection to the moment.
That you're already in.
That you're already in. And they're also disconnected from the moment. So who is actually in the moment?
Or like there was this thing that kept happening over the past 2 years, very similar, where people wouldn't be at the motive but would be looking for negativity at the motive to say why they shouldn't have gone to the motive.
Yes.
Even though there are some people that are at the motive that are saying, I'm actually enjoying myself, they're looking for the negativity so it can justify the fact that they didn't go. This whole thing is a fucking circus, bro. The whole thing is it's a fucking psychiatric circus. And I think unless someone just stops and says, yo, we're all losing our shit here, it's going to get worse. And it has gotten worse.
Cool. Let me ask you this question, yeah? Last question. You've attained a level of success in your craft, and I hope you're happy in life, right?
I am.
How do you not lose sense of self? Because I think it's very easy to lose yourself, and you're somebody who's more experienced in the creative industry than me, but from the outside looking in, I see things. How do you not lose who you are? How do you not relinquish the morals that you have? Like, how do you maintain who you are in this ever-changing, crazy-ass industry that we're in?
You know, again, a very good question. One that's difficult to do in this day and age. I'm trying to think of the things that I purposely do. I almost think that they're a little. They might even be scare tactics for myself. I don't want to lose where I am, and I know that it can take one moment of pride, one moment of arrogance, one moment of complacency that could erase everything that I've built up until this point. So I use that as a way to say to myself, look, I'm confident at what I do. I know that I'm good at what I do. I know that I've been blessed with a talent. I get it. While still understanding, I'm very grateful to be here. I'm very grateful to be in the space that I am. Very grateful to be at the position that I am as a black photographer. As a black photographer with a disability, I'm very grateful. So in my head, there's no reason for me to ever go past that, because I stay within the realms of, man, I'm just glad to be here. And so I think you have to have this sense, it's not self-deprivation, but you have to have this sense of self-worth, while this understanding that, you know what, it really is a matter of one moment and it could all be gone. And that's how, to me, that's how I see life. You sit here and you go up and down and you do what you do, but in a matter of moments, your life could be taken away, God forbid. But that's just how it goes. And so I think to myself, look, because of how relatively short life is and how fragile life is, I've got to live with this essence of, I'm so grateful to be alive. I'm so grateful to be doing what I'm doing. I'm so grateful to have a life to be able to do it, and to be in a position that I'm in where I didn't do no uni. I didn't do no, it's not people that I know. I'm not no Nepo baby. I've just worked as hard as I can, and I've been given these opportunities, and then worked for opportunities that have been given. Man, I stay within that realm.
Yeah.
Because it's the only way sometimes. Otherwise, you tend to fall into this habit of, almost you build up this thing about yourself that, yeah, it's me, it's me, it's me, it's me. There's a big difference between arrogance and self-confidence, and I try and find a thin line to that.
Absolutely. Last question. In one sentence. It's a profound question, but what is art?
Oh, you're dropping gems here, mate. Ooh. In one sentence. Art is the ability to tell your story. No. Art is the ability to tell a story through your lens. Whether you're a photographer, videographer, musician, podcast, it doesn't matter. It is the ability to tell someone else's story through your lens.
That's an amazing way to end the podcast. Appreciate you coming through.
Thank you for having me.
The people need no introduction, but, for promotional purposes, tell the people what you got going on, where they can find you at.
So yeah, the next year is gonna be, I can't lie, it's gonna be a bit crazy. There's some stuff going on with This Chord that I'll be announcing very, 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 very soon. It's a partnership that I've been working on for about a month now, and it's huge. So yeah, look out for that on This Chord Club on all socials. DB Cxptures, DB Cxptures. Yeah, we got a batch of stuff going on. I've got editorials to do. I'm traveling all over the world. There's some really particular editorials that I want to work with a couple of prominent people that I'm just trying to get over the line at the moment. Got some partnerships working on. Did my first gallery this year in partnership with Canon. It was incredible. And we've got some stuff in the pipeline with them as well. So yeah, man, 2026, baby.
First of all, appreciate you coming on.
Thank you very, very much.
I want to say thank you for what you do for us, man.
Thank you.
But if you want to, stick over here, make sure to follow us on TikTok, Instagram. Hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 10K on TikTok. Please help us get to 10K. But yeah, man, this has been an amazing episode. Make sure you engage in the comment section down below. Make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. It's been a rare podcast. We're signing out. Deuces.
Peace.